Hello and welcome back to eCabinets Tips and Tricks. This is part 2 on a series that I'm doing on creating a fluted part for our to add to our face frame here on our cabinet. In the previous video we created a up-down stretcher by selecting the top and the deck and adding the stretcher and adding um, uh, constraints or associating the stretcher to this different parts of this style here. If you haven't viewed part 1, you might want to take a look at that. But as I said in that video, there's some restrictions here. If you change this style, this bottom rail, or you delete, if you change this bottom rail, this stretcher or the fluted column or fluted part there will not resize based on where this bottom rail is. So, and also if you change your deck inset or your top inset, it's not going to resize correctly, or even worse, if you delete the deck or the top, it's going to remove the stretcher altogether. So what I have here is I have a cabinet. I've removed the original stretcher already, and I'm going to go into stretcher editor and I'm going to create some dummy stretchers that we're going to use. So I'm going to click on the left end and the right end. I'm going to add a stretcher. I'm going to go ahead and just make this 1 inch wide. It's all butt joints and front back orientation. I'm going to use a material here. This is 1/32 thick, and it's a dummy material that I created. It's just simply named dummy material, do not cut. And I used this material before eCabinets came up with the phantom part feature so that we could filter it out at the machine, but that's no longer necessary now. But you can use whatever material you wish. Like I said, this is a 32nd thick, so I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to click on adjust stretcher, and I'm going to click on advanced again, and we're dealing with inset 1 here. We want to associate it to the let's go to the left style and the top of the left style. This way this will move if this style changes. Okay, inset 2 we're not worried about. Inset 3 we want it to be on the left style and the back side of the left style. And these will remain the same. I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to change my top inset 1 to 0 and lock it, and my inset 3 I'm going to put it at 0 and lock it. So now this dummy stretcher here is going to move if this style moves up and down, and it'll also move when the cabinet resizes. In other words, if this left end moves that way or that way, it's going to resize itself with it. So I'm going to click done, and I'm going to create another stretcher and add stretcher. Go ahead and make it 1 inch. Change my material, make sure it's front back orientation, and click OK. Now I'm going to adjust it. This time we're dealing with inset 2. Okay, inset 2 I want to be on the left style and the bottom. And what that's going to do when we set that inset 2 to 0, it's going to set the bottom of that stretcher up flush with the bottom of that style. And the same thing on the previous stretcher, using inset 1, it set the top of the dummy stretcher to the top of that style there. Okay, inset 3, again we want our left style and the back side of the left style. Click OK and change our inset 1 to 0 and lock it, and inset 3 to 0 and lock it. Okay, so that was wrong. It's not inset 1, it's inset 2 to 0 and lock. And click done. Now we have our 2 dummy stretchers that are going to move with this style here in height. So now we need to create our flutes, our fluted stretchers here, stretchers that we're going to use for our flute. So I'm going to just go ahead and hide this part here so I can select that. And I'm going to select this one and go home and let's see, go add stretcher. I'm going to go ahead and just set this at 3 inches. And everything is but I need to change my material to 3/4 solid stock, and that's so that it can be filtered out at the machine. And I want an up down stretcher, left right orientation. I'll click OK, and there's that stretcher. So I'll click on it and adjust. Go to advanced and inset 1. I need to change it because it's at the bottom. I'm going to change it to the top, just like we did when we did in the first video when we associated or created our stretcher using our deck and our top. The top needs to be the top. Let's see. Inset 1. That is not right. It's got it on the top. That is not correct. Why did it put it at the top? Let's redo that. Visibility. Hide selected. Click on you and you, and click on add stretcher. 1 inch. Dummy material. Okay. Let's see. I don't want a dummy material. Construction settings. Stretcher width. I want it to be 3 inches. Left right stretcher. Up down orientation. Okay, so let's go edit stretcher. I want to adjust stretcher. Getting out of whack here. Okay, let's go to advanced. It's still on the top. What's up with that? Delete item. Why is it not letting me? Okay, I selected that. For some reason, when I clicked on this top, evidently the program thought it was still selected or something. Let's see if this works. And add stretcher, 3 inches, 3/4 solid stock, and OK. Let's see where we're at now. Adjust stretcher, go to advanced. Okay, see, now it's correct. Evidently, when I selected the top to hide it, the program thought it was still, the top was still selected. It should have gave me an error that when I selected both of them, but I don't understand that. So anyhow, we got that working. we want to associate the inset 1 to the top of that dummy stretcher, just like we did the top of the top in the previous video, and this one needs to be on the bottom. Okay, inset 3 we're not worried about. Inset 4 we want to be on the left stile and the front of it. Inset 5 we want to be on the left stile and the left of that one, and inset 6 we want to be on the left stile and the right. Click OK. So now you can see we're at a 30-second here. We need to be 0 and lock, and 0 and lock on 2, and inset 4 we want it at 0 and lock. Inset 5 we want it at 0 and lock, and inset 6 we're going to leave this at 1 and lock that, and click done. So now there's that stretcher, and let's go ahead and create our next one here. Let's see if I can click on that. If for whatever reason you can't click on that, you should be able to click on this, right click, hide selected, then hit your escape key, hold it down or hit it a few times so that it deselects that hidden part there. I'm going to click on that. Let's see how that works. I'm going to edit, add a stretcher 3/4 solid stop, and OK. And let's see how that one worked by using our escape key. Adjust stretcher, advanced. See, we got it that time. And we're going to do this one the same way. Inset 1, left right stretcher top. Inset 2, left right stretcher bottom. Inset 4. This time we're going to go on the right stile in the front of it. Inset 5, we want to be on the right stile, and we do want that one on the right side, but we need it on the left side. Okay, and inset 6, we want it on the right side also, so click OK. And all these are the same. This is 0, inset 2 is 0, inset 4 is 0, but this time we want inset 5 to be 1 and lock, and inset 6 we want it at 0 and lock. And now we're all done with these. We need to return to main, and we need to give our stretchers a name. So I'm going to go to user part name, and this is a left right stretcher, and it's the top. I'm just going to abbreviate this. I'm going to dummy stretcher top, and left right stretcher, this one should be the bottom, dummy stretcher bottom, and this one will be our left. You can name it whatever you want, and this one's going to be our right. And it's important to name these so that later on when you come back to it, you know which one's which. And most importantly, the people assembling the cabinets and the people cutting out the parts, they know which one is which, instead of just up down stretcher, up down stretcher, left right stretcher and all that. Always take advantage of this user part name and eliminate a lot of confusion on the shop floor. I'm going to click OK. Now we need to designate these dummy stretchers here as phantom parts. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to find phantom parts, and I'm going to click on this one, and I'm going to hold down my control key, and I'm going to click on that one, and I'm going to set selected to phantom and click OK. Now As you can see, they've changed colors. They're this translucent red color. They're not going to show up on the cut list or anything like that. But what we've done here is we've created a almost completely dynamic applied flute on each end of this cabinet that will change with when you change the top rail, bottom rail, top insets, or even remove the top or the deck. So let's test this out. Let's come in here and let's put our bottom rail, let's put it back to 2 inches. Bottom rail 2 inches, and let's go to our deck. Let's change this back to 1 1/4 and hit enter and OK. So as you can see, all that worked pretty good. That should be 30, let's see, 42, and our style is 42. And so even if you remove the deck, let's say you're gonna use this as a part of an entertainment center, and it's going to sit directly on the bottom or the top of a base cabinet or something like that. You want to remove that deck. You go into your deck and you click as deck and OK, and no problems, even if you remove that bottom rail. Let's see, actually we got to go into face frame editor to remove the bottom rail. Delete item. Okay, so back to main, and as you can see, everything stayed just like we wanted. So that about wraps it up for this video. On the next one, we'll be putting in some flutes in these fluted moldings here that we're creating, and apply some constraints to them so that the flutes will move dynamically also. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions or comments, just post them on my channel, and be sure to subscribe to get all the latest tips and tricks. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.